my previous video, I had said that I wanted to get my story started. I don't know if any of you saw it. If you did, great. If you didn't, go back and check it out. What did I do? What did I do since that last video? I cleaned my room. You probably can't tell from like what you see here, but I did clean up. It was a little messy. It was a little, unkempt, and I put everything where it's supposed to go. Now it's not perfect, but it's clean. I'm done. I'm ready to get started. So that's what I've done since my last video. And what am I gonna do now? Good question. Good question. I don't know what to do now. So, new writer, and these are new writer problems. How do I do this? I know a lot of people have their routine, they write every day, or they write at very specific times of the day. I don't have anything set in stone. The most I have is this room. I do have a place, so I have that, but I don't have any kind of a routine. The other thing is also, I haven't written in about a year and a half, which I did talk about a little bit in my last video. I'm not going to get into all the reasons why, life. That's usually the reason. Why didn't you write? Life happened. It's fine. I didn't want to write because of writing. Yeah. So, important for today though. I don't want to dwell on things that happened in the past. I need to start moving forward. So, what do I do to kickstart my writing? What do you do to kickstart your writing? Because I'm curious what everybody else does. I don't know what I should do. Honestly, I'm a little bit, I'm thinking about my story. My story is, for those of you, well, wait a minute, those of you, all of you, because I haven't told anybody what the genre of my story is. So, genre. The genre of my story is, I'll let you know. I have heard it called bathtub gin flavored spy thriller. It's a spy thriller story. So we have a protagonist, Alex, and that it could change. Alex could change and not be the protagonist. My story is very up in the air. So Alex is not a spy. He's just a regular guy, but he knows he's in danger and he has to get away, and he has to find a way to get himself out of that danger. He has to, figure out why these guys are following him, and at the same time, trying to keep himself safe and get away from these guys. So that's as much as I have for the story at the moment. There are more elements to it, but that's the gist of the story. And like I said in my last video, I've got the first draft done, but it's not really a first draft, unfortunately. So I wrote the story. I got the draft done. I put it aside for a couple of months, pulled it out, read it over with the eyes of a reader instead of the eyes of the author. I read it, and I came up with three thoughts, feelings I had at the end of the story. One was, I was bored. I mean, what a horrible thing to say about your own story. I read my story. It was boring. Ugh. It's not boring in my head. In my head, It's a great story. I love this story. It's exciting, it's dangerous, it's fun, you know? But not on the page it was. It wasn't at all. It was, yeah, boring. What else happened? Oh yes, I got to the end of this story and I was frustrated. I was frustrated because unfortunately the way that I wrote this story, although it was in third person, it was a limited view. We had one view that was Alex's viewpoint. We sort of followed Alex through everything that happened, got to the end of the story. And the thing about this story is that for purposes, Alex doesn't find out the reason why these men were following him. He never finds out the true story, the real reason. At the end of the story, Alex is happy that he's not in danger anymore and he can get back to his life, which is great for Alex. But as the reader, you want to know, why did all of this happen? What was the point of this story? Yeah, what was the point of the story? I was very frustrated. Not only was it boring, but I got to the end and I didn't find out why anything that just happened. I didn't answer the question. I mean, as the reader, I was very upset. I was very upset that I sat through a boring story, got to the end and found out nothing. So, and this is me critiquing my own stuff. I can imagine what somebody else might say if they got their hands on the story. I think maybe I was being nice to myself. So, yeah. The other thing of it was it only came out to about 46,000 words. And I think that the problem was, yeah, not enough information because we maybe need another point of view. A point of view from somebody who has more information to give the reader. Then the answers need to be furnished by another character, at least one other character, possibly a couple. Now, having read this genre, I know that we can have more than one point of view. In fact, most of them have more than one point of view. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of normalcy to put another point of view in, and I think that might be something I have to do. So how do I go from here? What do I do? All of this brainstorming I've done so far is in my head, and I feel like I really need to write it down, I think. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sit down, piece of paper, pen, and I'm going to spend maybe, you know what I'm going to do actually? I'm going to put on a Pomodoro. Let me see here. All right, let's go. So I made some adjustments. I made a few little changes, but they're actually quite big changes to the plot. And I got about probably plotted out about to the end of, I guess, what would be considered Act 1. Honestly, I don't know how these acts break up. I hear everybody talking about Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. I have a general idea of what that means, but I'm not really 100% sure. I figure Act 1 is sort of the setup. Act 2 is where all the fun stuff happens, and then Act 3 is where everything sort of comes to a climax and everything gets sort of figured out, and we end the story with a satisfactory ending, satisfactory to the reader, which I'm really hoping that I can get that done in this story. But for now, I have a really good idea of how to set up the events of the story to happen in Act 2. So I'm really excited. For now, I've got a good plot for the first act of this story. Going forward, I'm going to need to do a bit of plotting for Act 2. I feel like I like to discovery write those sorts of things. Who knows what could happen? Where are we going to go next? I like to find that out along with the characters as I'm writing it. So I'm probably going to write a loose plot outline for that, sort of put in a few of my ideas and almost suggestions, my suggestions to the story of what I think would be nice or neat or exciting to have happen. But as I'm writing it, that the story might decide that it doesn't work and throw it at the side. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm an idea person. Not all my ideas are good, but I got lots of them. So we'll see. So I'll have to write Act 2 outline, and then I'm fairly confident that I know how the story is going to end. So that'll be a quick thing to do of just plotting the outline of Act 3. So those are the next steps for me. And then we'll have to hit the character stuff. Yeah, I'm almost not looking forward to that. As interesting as characters are, it's going to be really hard for me to figure that stuff out. But that's for another day, that's for another time, and that's for another video. So if you want to see where I'm going to go next, consider hitting that subscribe button. Leave a comment if you have any questions for me or suggestions. I believe I asked you a few questions throughout this video, so if you have any suggestions, answers to my questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you want, like this. Thanks so much. I'm JL. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.